Good morning, everyone, and welcome to First Unitarian Congregation of Toronto, where we gather online for the first time in a while officially. Our mission is to nurture connection, share life's joys and sorrows, and act for love and justice. We value your presence, whether you're joining us from around the corner or around the world, and whether you're a longtime member of this community or visiting us for the first time. No matter where you are on life's journey, no matter how you came to be, you belong here because you are here. Wendy Ewens from the Reconciliation Working Group will be sharing our updated land acknowledgement shortly with a testimonial on the process of crafting it. But on a personal note, on this very snowy morning, I am grateful for the way the snow envelopes the trees in a warm hug. When I am in nature, I take in the swaying trees as a greeting. The gentle breeze is what gives them the final push to wave. Seeing their snow-covered branches makes me feel embraced. They're so alive and want to say hello. And I like to think that nature can feel my aliveness as well. Let us be reminded that this land always has so much life to offer, and we have so much life to offer it in return. Just like an inhale always comes with an exhale, when we give to the land gives to us. I'm Alexa Yaffe. My pronouns are ze, them, and he, him, and I'm a member of this community and your co-worship leader for today's service. I'm joined today by my co-worship leader, Terry Marks, Tom Lillington as our musical director, Director of Lifespan Religious Education, Angela Klassen, pianist Gregory O, as well as our AV technician, Matt Rideout. In today's service, Wendy Ewens will be sharing a testimonial on our updated land acknowledgement, and in the absence of a guest speaker, we will be sharing a sermon by Reverend Deborah Folk. Terry and I will be delivering her sermon titled Life is a Wonder, that is a part of the Meaning Making series, Meeting This Moment with Love and Justice. Reverend Deborah Folk, Minister Emerita, now lives in an intentional community on Vancouver Island on the traditional land of the Lekwungen people, known today as the Esquimalt and Songhees nations. She is walking distance from 2 and a ferry ride away from the other 3 grandchildren. She contributes as a volunteer serving on the CUC board and as a coach for other UU ministers. Deborah continues to do consulting work and guest preaching. Other delights include garden, cooking, and wondering. I'm happy to bring you news from the life of the congregation. If you're looking for a way to stay in touch with our community, check out the form on the online services page of our website where you can say hello and also let us know if you'd like to receive our First Light e-newsletter. Thanks to the ongoing commitment of 16 people, coffee teams are now up and running for the rest of the church year. Thank you to all these dedicated volunteers for your service to this community that is the foundation to an hour of joyful community connection. And I'm seeing lots of hearts and reactions going up in the Zoom as well. We are so close to our goal of raising $5,000 for Flaming Chalice International. The funds will go to community efforts in Burundi and Rwanda to help bright young students go to school and to help families start small businesses. Mwibutsa's video message can be watched through First Light. Thank you to everyone who has contributed so far. And you can make a donation through Canada Helps. The link to that is also in First Light. And for other events happening this week and in the near future, please take a look at First Light. There is so much more. Thank you to all of you for being a part of the life of the congregation. I now invite Wendy Ewens to share some words from the Reconciliation Working Group.
Good morning, everyone, or good day if you're calling from some other location. I'm here to share with you the process members of the Reconciliation Working Group, RWG, undertook to create the updated land acknowledgement that the board approved on January 20th. The RWG mission is to inform, to engage, and to inspire action. The purpose of a land acknowledgement is to recognize the deep connection of Indigenous peoples to the land, honor them as traditional stewards, and acknowledge the injustices and colonial legacy that has led to their marginalization. It in itself is an act of reconciliation that aims to make Indigenous presence visible and to honor their heritage and wisdom, which includes the land, waters, and community. The land acknowledgement here highlights our current 473 location to place us in our home base now and in the foreseeable future. It also is applicable to all the locations we've had in the 180 years. Myself and others reviewed different sources in depth. I also spoke to the communication officer and the historian, Indigenous historian of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, to clarify a number of specific issues around names, treaties, and controversies. Of note, the Mississaugas are a subgroup of the Ojibwe, as part of the family of Anishinaabe. And rather than be redundant, they prefer to be referred to specifically as the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Therefore, you will not see in the acknowledgement the words Anishinaabe or Ojibwe. He also advised me that the dish with one spoon is a controversial issue between the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, as they interpret it differently. We were asked not to include it in the land acknowledgement. Now, larger organizations like the City of Toronto and the Toronto Public Library span a wider landmass north and south and east and west of us, and therefore have other nations and treaties included that were not in our historical locations. In talking with the historian, we were encouraged to determine how we as a congregation and as individuals are being good treaty partners. please note that as a congregation, we approved unanimously endorsing UNDRID, the United Nations Declaration of Indigenous Peoples, in January 2013 on the recommendation of the Amnesty Group. And in November 2023, we repudiated the doctrine of discovery and terra nullius, honoring the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls for action. Now, this is in addition to you participating in marches and fundraising and supporting for Thunder Woman Healing Lodge, attending theater shows, and taking in activities together. As ongoing responsibilities, we have employed active verbs to continuing honoring our commitment. You will find the land acknowledgement at the bottom of First Light each week. They've done a wonderful job in presenting it. And if you wish to know more of these, you can sign up for activities you can engage in. You can sign up with Gilbert, along with the curated selection from the church, curated by the Church of the Redeemer. You will find that worship leaders will personalize their worship entry at call to worship and embrace some of the aspects of nature and land and waters, as we heard so eloquently this morning. Now I'm going to read the new land acknowledgement as it is presented so you can see it up on the screen. I do hope to be there next week with a table at the back to show you some of the resources that we looked at. With gratitude, First Unitarian Congregation of Toronto gathers on the ancestral homelands of many Indigenous peoples from time immemorial. We acknowledge that this is the traditional territory of the Wendat and Haudenosaunee. Today, we meet at 473 Oakwood Avenue in person on the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, covered by the Toronto Purchase Treaty, number 13, 1805, with the British Crown. Many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people also now call this city their home. First U congregants are treaty partners with responsibilities, endorsing the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, UNDRID, and repudiating the doctrine of discovery and terra nullius. We strive as individuals and as a congregation to be informed, to honor and care for the land, and to engage with integrity with Indigenous people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wendy, and everyone who's a part of the Reconciliation Working Group who worked to craft this new updated land acknowledgement. And now, as we begin our service, I invite you to light a candle or chalice if you have one close by, and join with us in saying our chalice lighting words. As we light our chalice, may its flame kindle within us the warmth of compassion, the glow of love, the fire of commitment, and the light of truth. And now this is the time where we would usually greet our neighbors in person, but being online, I invite you to turn on your camera if you feel comfortable and just give a little wave. You can even type in the chat hello or where you're coming from. If you're not in gallery mode, I think Matt already made us in gallery mode, so we can see everyone's beautiful faces. Hey, and even some emoji reactions as well. That's nice. Thank you, everyone. I now invite you to join in singing together hymn 389, Gathered Here.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body,
In this hour, we turn our attention to the quiet depth of our lives, noticing how simply arriving here already weaves our stories together. Each person brings questions, longings, and gifts, and something in us knows we are shaped by what we share in this place. From that awareness of shared presence, we now speak aloud the promises that guide how we travel alongside one another. From our many and varied paths, we arrive here as individuals to build up within and beyond our walls a community of commitment, love, and hope. To express the highest aspirations of our congregation, let us now join in the words of our covenant. Love is our doctrine. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve life. In the end, that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all. This is now the time for all ages. Today's story is called The Darkest Dark.
As we cap off our monthly theme of wonder today, our time for all ages helps us to step into that amazing sense of awe that we might feel as we look up into the night sky. This is Chris and his dog Albert. Chris was an astronaut, an important and very busy astronaut. When it was time to take a bath, he told his mother, "I'd love to, but I'm saving the planet from aliens." When it was time to get out of the bath and go to bed, he told his father, politely, because astronauts are always polite, "Sorry, no can do, I'm on my way to Mars." An astronaut's work is never done, so astronauts do not like to sleep. But their parents do. "You're a big boy now," said Chris's father. "You have to sleep in your own bed." And Chris tried. He really did. But his room was dark, very, very dark. The kind of dark that attracts the worst sort of aliens. But his parents meant it. Chris was going to sleep in his own bed tonight. His mom and dad checked under his bed and in the closet and even in his underwear drawer. They declared the room 100% alien-free. They tucked Chris in, they turned on the nightlight, they even gave him a special bell to ring if he was nervous. Clang, 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 clang. They took the bell away. And then his father said something that worried Chris even more than the dark did. "One more peep, young man, and I'm afraid we'll all be too tired to go next door tomorrow." But tomorrow would be a special day, a very special day. Chris had to go next door. His life pretty much depended on it. So Chris stayed in his own bed, without a peep. It took a long time to fall asleep, but when he did, he had his favorite dream. He flew his spaceship all the way to the moon. Albert's there too, of course. The next day seemed to last forever, but finally, when the moon was shining over the lake and the summer wind was ruffling the leaves of the trees, Chris ran next door. Oh, there's Walter Cornpipe for everyone who remembers him. The house was already full of people, all gathered around the TV, the only TV on the whole island. Chris found a spot where he could see through the crowd, and what he saw was astronauts, real live astronauts on the actual faraway moon. They were wearing puffy white suits and jumping for joy, jumping so high because there was so much less gravity there. The grown-ups huddled around the TV were amazed. Their whole lives long, they'd never expected to see this sight. Even Chris, who had been to the moon just the night before, was amazed. He'd never really noticed how dark it was there. Outer space was the darkest dark ever. There they are on the dock at Stag Island outside Sarnia. That night, Chris did a little experiment. He turned off all the lights in his room, even the night light. It was still dark, very, very dark. There were still shadows that looked a little, well, alien. Nothing had changed, but Chris had changed. He'd seen that the darkness of the universe was so much bigger and deeper than the darkness in his room, but he was not afraid. He wanted to explore every corner of the night sky. For the first time, Chris could see the power and mystery and velvety black beauty of the dark. And he realized, you're never really alone there. Your dreams are always with you, just waiting. Big dreams about the kind of person you want to be. Wonderful dreams about the life you want to live. Dreams that actually can come true. This is Chris Hadfield, the author, raised in Milton, retired astronaut engineer, and former RCF fighter pilot. He's flown 2 space shuttle missions and served as commander of the International Space Station. His book is The Darkest Dark, illustrated by the Fan brothers. And if you wonder about the vastness of the universe and would like to connect with that later today, you can Google Hubble for the Hubble Space Telescope, birthday, Hubble birthday, and plug in your birthday or the birthday of a loved one and find out what did the Hubble Space Telescope see on your birthday.
Enter with me now into a time of meditation and prayer. A time we begin with words from Reverend Gordon B. McKeeman, which will then be followed by silence, a musical meditation, and then the sharing of our sorrows and joys. How does one address mystery? Cautiously. Let us go cautiously then to the end of our certainty, to the boundary of all we know, to the rim of uncertainty, to the perimeter of the unknown which surrounds us. Reverently, let us go with a sense of awe, a feeling of approaching the powerful holy whose lightning slashes the sky, whose persistence splits concrete sidewalks with green sprouts, whose miracles are present in every place and moment. Hopefully, out of our need for wholeness in our own lives, the reconciliation of mind and heart, the conjunction of reason and passion, the intersection of timelessness with time. Quietly, for no words will explain the inarticulate or summon the presence that is always present, even in our absence. But what shall I say? Anything, any anger, any hope, any fear, any joy, any request, any word that comes from the depth of being addressed to being itself. Or perhaps nothing, no complaint, no request, no entreaty, no thanksgiving, no praise, no blame, no pretense of knowing, of not knowing. Simply be in the intimate presence of mystery, unashamed, unadored, and unafraid. And at the end, say, Amen.
We now come to tend the sacred bonds that bind our lives to one another, affirming that what touches the life of one of us affects us all. In these moments, we seek to widen our caring ministry by sharing the joys, sorrows, and milestones of our own lives and in the life of our congregation. We hold in our thoughts all those who are heavy-hearted, those grieving, facing illness. May they find comfort. I invite you to bring to mind those you are holding in your heart today. You may also share your sorrows in the chat. Life also offers gifts and delights. May we cultivate gratitude. Please bring to mind all that you are grateful for today. You may also share your joys in the chat. May all that has been shared here strengthen and renew the bonds of this beloved community. In joy and in sorrow, in both struggle and success, may we together embrace life's blessings and endure its challenges in the sacred hope that we might grow stronger through both. May we summon the strength to do our part to heal the hurts of our world, and may we live with courage and compassion, with gratitude and with joy, today and always. Amen. Our reading comes from poet Rosemary Watola Traumer, titled Intention. To wonder with no plan for where it might lead, no strategy for arrival, no finish line, no pot of gold, no perfect score, no striving for. To wonder the way a small child might wonder when seeing a roly-poly for the first time. Oh, look at those legs. Look at how it curls. Look at how it moves again. Feel how light it is in the palm. Feel how it tickles as it moves. Imagine an awareness that new meeting a life form that old. Can I be that new as I meet this infinite world? To wonder not just with my mind, but with my belly. To let every neuron spark. To notice where there is a channel and imagine the great wing of life is scraping it clean so the stream might flow in new ways. To wander beyond the edge of the known and in that spaciousness, play. Please join in singing hymn 1003, Where Do We Come From?
Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery.
Today, Alexa and I, your co-worship leaders, will share with you Reverend Deborah Folks' reflection entitled Life is a Wonder. This was prepared for the Meaning Making Project this January. In it, Reverend Folk invites us to reclaim childhood curiosity, embrace life's mysteries, and practice awe as a path to renewal and connection. I invite you to listen with an open heart. Life is a wonder. Is it a mystery, miracle, a wonder? Is it to ponder, to doubt, to wonder? Can the cultivation of wonder rejuvenate, inspire, and motivate? Is it a spiritual practice? A few questions that inform the reflection, the wonderings. Why? Most of us can recall or know a young person whose favorite word is why. I must confess, the little one still inside me wants to know why. I want to learn something new every day. There's not a single day that I can recall when that why question was not with me. This is both engaged curiosity and a way to open the conversation with the big questions in life, which is, from my perspective, a significant part of the purpose of a religious or spiritual community. Unitarian Universalists have never required a single answer to life's biggest questions. We love mystery. We honor science. We respect doubt. We embrace metaphor. And we leave room for the miraculous, even if we may not all agree on what that word actually means. Our faith tradition does not have the absolute answers to those big questions. We do offer responses, ideas about the big questions that help us understand life and its meaning. UU responses help us all to think about the mysteries of life and death, the mysteries of everything. Mystery is what makes life, life. There will always be big questions, and there will always be mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Poet Mary Oliver titles one of her poems, Mysteries, Yes. In it, she states, "Truly we live with mysteries too marvelous to be understood. How grass can be nourishing in the mouths of lambs, how rivers and stones are forever in allegiance with gravity, why we ourselves dream of rising. How two hands touch and the bonds will never be broken. How people come from delight or the scars of damage to the comfort of a poem. Let me keep my distance always from those who think they have the answers. Let me keep company always with those who say, look, and laugh in astonishment and bow their heads. There is and always will be that questioning, the whys that are daily with us. Those of us who find ourselves in a community of seekers and searchers recognize and, for the most part, accept that there is that which is unknowable. Though we always will diligently attempt to know. In the 4 M's of religion, Reverend Joyce Smith clarifies this, saying, "Our scientists are not solving mysteries. They are making discoveries. Nor is mystery the same as magic. Mystery is an awareness. It is the wonder at the simple holiness of life itself. Mystery leads us to stand in awe of the fact that we do exist, that the world in all its beauty is. I like that mystery is an awareness, the wonder at the simple holiness of life. We so need to be called back to this sense of the simple holiness of life, back to the wonder of it all. Sometimes wonder is a gentle ache in the heart, a sense that the world is bigger, more intricate, more sacred than our minds can hold. I've had a few moments in my life when I've had a sense of profound connection with all that is. The mere mention of this brings one of those moments vividly to mind. It calms my soul and provides a momentary sense of connection. Perhaps you have had such an experience that comes to mind. I know I'm not alone in these experiences, for many have shared these with me, and after all, books are written about such moments. Indeed, our first source of inspiration from the sources of the living Unitarian Universalist tradition articulates this as direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder, affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces that create and uphold life. In her play, The Search for Intelligent Life in the Universe, I love how Lily Tomlin portrays this as Trudy, the bag lady. On the way to the play, we stopped to look at the stars. And as usual, I felt in awe. And then I felt even deeper in awe at this capacity we have to be in awe of something. Then I became even more awestruck at the thought that I was, in some small way, a part of that which I was in awe about. And this feeling went on and on and on. My space chums got a word for it. Awe infinitum. Because at the moment you are most in awe of all you don't understand, you're closer to understanding it all other than in any other time. And I felt so good inside. My heart felt so full. I decided to set aside each day to do aerobics. Let this be an invitation to add this to your daily well-being routine. Exercise the body with physical activity. Exercise the mind with reading, researching, learning something new. Exercise the emotions by engaging in deepening relationships. Exercise the soul with aerobics. Aerobics! Now that would be a way to maintain a childlike sense of wonder. When we start to experience wonder, is it in the infant knowing their toes, or the wow at the first sight of snowflakes, or looking in a tidal pool? Wondering, that ongoing source of curiosity that fuels our development of human beings and has fueled most, if not all, discovery. Somewhere along the way, many of us lose the sense of wonder we had as children. You see, children do not ask questions to prove anything. They ask because the world is an invitation. Adulthood can shrink that invitation. Responsibilities pile up, We get better at predicting, explaining, and categorizing. We learn to manage life instead of marveling at it. And sometimes wonder feels almost dangerous. Because if we allow ourselves to feel awe, we may also have to feel grief, vulnerability, humility, even gratitude. Wonder opens us up. And being open can feel a bit risky. There is a cost to a life without wonder. Without wonder, life becomes flat. Without wonder, we lose touch with what makes our days sacred.
In these current times, there is another aspect of wonder that has been very present: bewilderment. As I try to take this sense of wonder into my ponderings about the challenges both personal and in the big wide world, I feel bewildered at so many things that have me question, how on earth did we get here? How did it come to this? Wonder can be curiosity, or confusion, or longing. Even the most advanced neuroscientist cannot fully explain consciousness or our capacity to wonder. The odds of our existence, your existence, my existence, are astronomically improbable. Is it a wonder? Always. Because no matter how much we know about evolution, physics, chemistry, ecosystems, life retains its ability to astonish us. In the language of science, wonder is not anti-rational. Wonder is the beginning of inquiry. In the language of spirit, wonder is not naive. Wonder is the doorway to reverence. In the language of poetry, wonder is not childish. Wonder is what allows us to live fully, deeply, joyfully. Yet wonder is not merely a feeling that happens to us. It can be a practice, a discipline, even a spiritual path. Think of how many religious traditions cultivate wonder. Jewish mysticism teaches us that the world is filled with divine sparks waiting to be seen. Buddhism speaks of beginner's mind, approaching each moment freshly. Christianity marvels at incarnation, the holy made flesh. Pagan traditions honor the seasons, the moon, the cycles of nature. And Unitarian Universalism, we have put wonder right at the center of our theology as our primary source of inspiration. I would suggest that it is also a bridge between our first principle, the affirmation of the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and our seventh principle, the valuing of the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Wonder is the bridge between these two principles. The more we wonder at the inherent worth of life, the more reverently we treat it. In this way, wonder becomes a moral stance, a way of living ethically in a world that desperately needs our care. Wonder does not require certainty. In fact, wonder and doubt often walk hand in hand. The philosopher Socrates said, "Wonder is the beginning of wisdom." Notice he did not say certainty. Wisdom begins when we admit that we do not know everything, when we resist the temptation to be right all the time. Doubt, healthy, curious doubt, is the partner of wonder. Where wonder asks, what is possible here? Doubt asks, what might I be missing? Both are necessary. Both keep us humble and open. And humility is a kind of spiritual spaciousness, space enough for new learning, new understanding, new connection, even new transformation. We live in a culture of overwhelm, of news cycles, productivity pressures, and unrelenting speed. Wonder is a kind of antidote. Think of the last time you felt wonder. Maybe while watching a sunset, or holding a newborn, or hearing a piece of music that reached something deep in you. In those moments, time stretches. The racing mind slows. The heart opens. Even a few seconds of wonder can feel like a breath of fresh air. Wonder nudges our creativity. It sparks inventions, artwork, poetry. It helps us imagine possibilities we have not yet tried. Every new idea begins with wonder. What if is a wondering question. Psychologists tell us that people who cultivate awe, noticing wonder regularly, tend to act more compassionately, volunteer more, and feel more connected to others. Wonder makes us aware that we are a part of something larger than ourselves, and that awareness often leads to action. Action for justice, for the environment, for the vulnerable, for peace. Wonder motivates us because wonder awakens love. How might we practice wonder intentionally? A few thoughts. Slow looking. Choose one ordinary thing each day, a leaf, a cup of coffee, a street corner, and look at it more slowly than usual. Notice its textures, colors, sounds, or even its history. Slow looking turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. Ask questions without needing answers. What is this trying to teach me? How did it come to be? What else might be true? Questions open the mind like windows. Step outside. Nature is a master teacher of wonder. Touch bark, watch clouds, listen to birds, feel wind. Let yourself be small in the best way possible. Note a daily wonder. Each evening, reflect or write down one moment, just one, that surprised you, moved you, or made you pause. Over time, this trains the mind to notice beauty. Cultivate wonder with others. Share moments of wonder aloud with family, friends, or within your communities. When wonder is spoken, it grows. Here's something we rarely acknowledge. Every person listening today is a phenomenon, an unrepeatable event in the universe. You are the result of stardust, oceans, continents, ancestors, choices, accidents, dreams, struggles, heartbreaks, joys, and countless acts of love or care that allowed you to survive to this very moment. If that is not wonder, what is? So how might our lives change if we intentionally lived with more wonder? We might slow down, become more patient with ourselves and with others. We might be less cynical, become more curious. We might listen more deeply, give thanks more often. We might act more courageously, love more freely. Wonder does not solve every problem. It can change the way we meet the world. It opens our eyes, softens our hearts, strengthens our spirits, and reminds us of what truly matters. Life is not perfect. Life is not always fair. Life can be harsh, heartbreaking, confusing, and yet, even in the hardest times, wonder is possible. And wonder is not something we outgrow. It is something we grow into. Let us cultivate wonder like a garden, with patience, with curiosity, with reverence. Let us practice wonder as a form of spiritual resilience, a way to stay awake to the beauty, the fragility, the astonishment of being alive. I close this reflection in the invitation of aerobics to cultivating wonderful lives, and with these words from Ojibwe writer, poet Richard Wagamese. I've been referred to as odd before. Nowadays, I refer to myself as odd. I want awe to be the greatest ongoing relationship in my life. I want to move through my days floored by the magnificence and generosity of my Creator. The breaking of a day, the silence between words, the light emanating from a real conversation and kindness, truth, love, in the apparently random hand of grace. I want to remain gobsmacked by it all. Rendered speechless by wonder, I await the next unfolding. Peace, friends, be awed today. Let us take a few deep breaths in silent reflection. Here at First, we practice our values and realize our mission through our weekly services, our programs, support groups, outreach, and our work in the wider world, all of which require intention, time, and giving. It is a joy to receive and a joy to give, whether it be giving your time and energy through volunteering, giving that lucky dime you found on the sidewalk, or your collection of lucky dimes you have found on various sidewalks. Your generosity ensures that your community can continue to give to you and give to others in the spirit of our shared vision. Please visit our website and click Donate to make a difference. And Matt has just dropped the link into the chat. Thank you for your generosity. I now invite you to join in singing our closing hymn, 317, We Are Not Our Own.
Thank you for being with us today. We hope that you have found connection and meaning in the service, and we look forward to seeing you in person, weather permitting, and online next week. At the end of our service, you will be invited to join a small group discussion by accepting the prompt to a breakout room when it appears on your screen. Today's discussion question is, how might our lives change if we intentionally lived with more wonder? As Alexis extinguishes our common flame, please also extinguish yours at home. And I'd like to say a few final words. Please take some time today to practice some aerobics, pausing to marvel at the ordinary miracles around you. Let wonder renew your spirit, spark your questions, and deepen your connections. Carry this gentle astonishment forward, and may it light your path today and always. Blessed be, and amen.